so much, Metal Summoners. We are super stoked to be back and hanging out still at M3. We got one more for you today, but hey, it is rock and roll. There's no guarantees that you're not going to see us again throughout this evening. But we are back. We are hanging out with Zebra. They played M3 back on day 3 when it comes to the M3. So we are really stoked. Thank you as always. Your Island of Misfit Toys with Angel Alamo, Psycho Steve, and Bobby Dreyer. We're actually going to kick it right into Bobby, and we're going to let him kick this one off for us. So Bobby.
So guys, I'm so freaking excited. I mean, favorite song? Bears. Bears. Oh, Bears. Love me some Bears. Both ways. But, oh, here he is. We always have to wait for the drummer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're kind of slow on the tape.
That's okay.
Yeah, play to a click, but
Play to the click, behind the beat, push pull, here, there, and out.
And this is live, guys.
Yeah.
This is live.
Hey!
Huh? Mm.
So before anything, as soon as Guy walked in, so the first time, a couple years ago, I seen him, I looked up and I'm going, oh my gosh, what are you doing behind the drums? I go, it's Kruger. And we all get older about it. Like, wow. But I just mentioned my favorite song, Bears. It's just something about it. And then I was mentioning the radio before on air. First time I really got to see you live was at Six Flags Great Adventure in Florida, and it was in the 80s, and I was in the Jackie Martin. Okay. So you were at the Great Arena right next to the Runaway Train, and I think you can play. You were trying, and what goes together.
Oh, yeah. It was very noisy, especially when you're playing, the soft song.
And you played that beautiful BC Bridge. So my question is, favorite shows from past that stick in your mind? I mean, that's stuck in the mind, but are there any of those iconic shows that you just go, that was the coolest venue, or that was a venue?
Well, we opened up for Journey. It was a 4-band thing in outdoors in New Orleans. And Journey was a headliner, and Foghat came up with them, and then we were there, and Brian Adams opened the show. And it was great. They gave us the key to the city.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a surprise. We had no idea. So we get the key to the city. I go, where can I get this? And they said, well, not getting anywhere.
So with that headline, what year would that have been?
What was that, Felix? 84? 83?
Yeah. So it was Frontiers right after, Don't Stop Believing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. So you had Brian Adams on a hot roll. You guys are coming out.
Yeah, it was great.
How big was the arena?
Well, it was outdoors. It was like a little stadium with people playing. So it's like 40,000 people, I think.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's great.
Jay, back to you.
Oh, absolutely.
And guys, I gotta fly. I gotta go shoot some yellow and black people.
It's live and you're wrong.
Absolutely, for sure. But now, yeah, how did it feel? I mean, one of the things obviously you can, I'm sure not be surprised about is that we've been covering a lot of bands getting back out, after the blackout and everything like that. So talk a little bit about playing today, just how the feel was, the vibe of the festival with the fans, and just how it was to be out there and crush.
Well, we have never played here before. We played Maryland many times, but I was surprised at how rare this venue is. It's amazing. And the whole turnaround stage thing, the whole setup in the dock, the loaded and set up outside for the audience and everything. I mean, it's really a beautiful, beautiful game.
How about yourself, guys? The feel of getting out there and the game?
The feel was great, and the festival, they really set up the festival well. Everything like people picking us up at the airport was done well. So yeah, it was great to get out there. Nice to Yeah, we took advantage of everything they had to offer. So we got to do the line check while XYZ was playing, and so everything they knew everything worked. And then when they spun the stage around, we actually got to do a sound check, which never happened. So with all the instruments and our sound guy got to do it. So it was as close to as a great situation as it's going to come in this kind of situation.
Absolutely. I watched a few various fun sound checks when they were the band playing to the crowd, but I watched the 3 sound checks because I just found it so interesting. I was like, because people would be plugged in, like actually testing out all of their gear, and I'd be like, that's so insane and just totally bitching that they're able to do that while another band's playing.
Yeah.
And the 2 bands are back to back, and nobody has any issues. I thought that was just super cool that the acoustics were set up in a way to allow for that.
But we don't make a sound. Like what happens is they're just checking the lines, so they just check to see if they're working. You don't even have to play the drum. You can just tap on the mics to make sure everything's working, right?
Gotcha.
And then when the band stops, that's when we start making it loud. You don't want to be playing while they're good, but a lot of our stuff is direct. Felix's whole keyboard grade is direct, so we don't need any sound. We can just sit there and they do it. They hear it in the headphones out of the house because they got 2 mixing consoles.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, a few people still did definitely make noise. It was funny. I was just kind of cutting through, for example, yesterday at one point when Stephen Pierce's band was just kind of getting everything going, and I just happened to be just minding my own business, walking by, and then Johnny Monaco hit his guitar, and the amp totally went off, and I was like, "How?" I was just like, "Oh my God, Johnny, it's working!"
Yeah.
So it's super duper fun.
We try to make it not known to us.
Absolutely. And another thing that's been kind of cool that we've found to be actually a very valuable question that we've been doing in our interviews over the last couple of years. When it comes to the blackout, obviously it became very difficult and partly impossible to do really anything at all. You guys, only know you guys, and you're completely seasoned as the band Zebra. But how did you find your communication was knowing that you couldn't tour, really get together, and spend a lot of time together like you normally would have? Did you find that your communication got even stronger than it probably already was?
What do you mean by communication?
I just mean usually when you spend a lot of time, you're always in buses, you're always touring, you're getting together for rehearsals and stuff like that. And some bands, couldn't really get together to do anything where, texting became more things, phone calls, just scheduling, anything they could do to make more music. That's just that kind of communication. Did you find there was were you able to strengthen that even more than it probably already was?
Well, I know I learned a lot because we started using Zoom to do meetings with each other,
Yeah. And David was playing every day in the afternoon. He was doing his own thing that he was so talking just to keep himself out.
Online, I started doing that right. I was stuck in New Orleans at the beginning of the pandemic, so in March, I had a little place down there, and I set it up to play. I started just playing to the camera, and then I got green screen and went hog wild with the whole thing. And then I just played every single day on Facebook. I jumped for a long time, and then I took a 4-month break and started again in 2021. I did it for a while, and then we played a gig. I think it was Florida, right?
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah, we played in 2021 in June, and I kind of stopped right there. We were starting to play a little bit,
Cool. Yeah, no, that was 100% the style of that question. It's just anything you
dealt with it.
Yeah, dealt with it. Well, how can we communicate better than just text and stuff like that? For sure. But Steve, let's kick it over to you, man.
So it's a 2-part question. The first question is, how did the new Zebra come about? And the second question is, you guys, because all these bands that are here and still out there, you guys have longevity. It's been the 3 of you for so many years.
47.
Okay, so you're 47. Okay. How do you guys still like each other after all these years?
We stay with it. Just said we do.
That's dangerous, Steve.
I know, I put in the band.
I live down in Louisiana.
We keep our distance. Okay, there you go.
We never rehearse. We don't have to rehearse. We never. Well, that's not true. When we do orchestra shows, we've done a couple orchestra shows. We did some rehearsal,
Right.
and a couple of times. But yeah,
Don knows how we got the name. He can tell you.
what's that?
The
How did
name of
the
the
name
band,
come
but
about?
I don't know how we got the name. Zebra.
Oh, a lot of beer and a poster on the wall. It was an old magazine, an old book magazine cover. Lady riding a zebra. And we had gotten together at this bar, and we just knew it all in his name, looked at it and said, that's good, zebra.
Yeah, we met there to get a name for the band.
Right on.
So it's like a band meeting, and you're just like, that's it.
No, it was after we, dissed everybody else's suggestions. I had 50 names.
Oh, I had-
Just laughed at it.
Yeah, I was saying that there's kind of some stupid names. But yeah, that's all we got. I
There was
literally
a
looked at
label,
the
it's
posters.
just had a table right up above those.
There was a lot of beer involved.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Do you remember some of the names that didn't make the cut?
I can remember two of mine. One was Champagne, another one was Clouds. Champagne and Clouds.
He was just, he
Clouds.
just, he wanted
Oh
something
my
like
God.
a C, so he just went to the
I'm
C's
glad
in the
that
next
that's
one.
Clouds.
I don't remember one of them. I don't remember one. But we had been in a band, Felix and I, oh no, the three of us had had a band together with a keyboard player
Yeah.
previously to Zebra. And we called the band Maelstrom. Have you know what a Maelstrom is?
Hurricane.
Yeah.
You do? Well, it's not, it's like a tornado in the sea. It's like a whirlpool in the ocean. And nobody can remember the name. So we wanted to make sure at least this time, we, at least some people remember.
Nice and simple.
It is. Hey, if it works. Yeah.
Simple, black and white. It's a color combination.
Perfect. Absolutely, sure. Andrew, it's all you, bro.
There's a question from one of the fans. Does Zebra have any new music coming out?
God, you can tell you.
Well, I'm gonna answer that. Randy?
God. Just waiting for the tracks.
There's an old song called Directions. They asked me to record it, but during this pandemic, I took like 6 months to get the thing recorded, but I had a studio. I sent it to Randy. Randy still has not listened to it.
Oh, I have. But you didn't change it. You want to redo it, change the tempo.
I did redo it.
I
I
did the second
did
verse
it for you.
Didn't redo the second shot. Maybe it was
So listen to the CD. So there is a song recorded, but he has more
But you
to
can see how much we
Now,
care.
I would like to
It's
listen.
done right. It's 6 months, 9 months, Felix.
He did. So
Oh, we did do a cover of a song that was for a Van Halen thing.
Yeah.
Pretty long, and that worked out okay. Like, that was a tribute to Ed, full story. And, but there's material, and we've been threatening to put another record out for the last.
Now, ask me, here's the thing I want you to ask. I want you to ask me, does he say that same thing? What is material going to get around to it now every interview? Because now it's.
I have, I'm pretty consistent.
It's good to be consistent.
Yeah. So what do you guys, what's currently scheduled for the next few months?
June 25th will be at the Gramercy Theater in Manhattan. And then June 26th will be at Daryl's house, Daryl Hall's place in Harlem, New York.
You'll love it. I don't know if you've been
Yeah, we
there.
played there some
Oh yeah. I watched there's all those videos that he's like collaborated with like.
It's not a studio, it's a club.
Oh, okay.
It's two different things.
So it's not like an episode of that show?
No.
I think they shot it in there when they did it, I think, because they have all the control and everything right there.
Yeah,
The production is so
No, the guy told me there's a building down the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then in July, we're doing some stuff in Texas.
We're playing in Lafayette on July 15th, and then we're playing in Houston on July 16th, a place called The Rise, which we haven't been to. We'll be there. It's awesome. It's all glass. It opens up the weather's nice.
Yeah, this, we're gonna play it, we're pandemic happened. And then we're gonna play it again, and we're ready to have COVID, we had to cancel. So this is the third show.
Sure, absolutely.
See?
So, is there any band that you always wanted to tour with that you never got the chance to tour with, or you played with pretty much everybody that you wanted to play with?
Not even close. Come close to playing with everybody we wanted to tour. Not me, Guy can tell you. We wanted to tour with. Jimi Hendrix was already
We're
gone.
gonna be on, we just got booked for cruise for next year. Deep Purple is on the cruise.
Really?
Oh, I can't wait.
Awesome. Exclusive. That's awesome.
Listening out, fans?
That's not announced yet. You can't even, you're not even supposed to say.
I'm sorry.
You're not supposed to say.
We're not talking, we haven't said anything
You're
about
not
what's
supposed to
supposed
say. Oh, you haven't announced? I told you not to say.
We're never gonna get that done.
Kids, I thought.
It's a rubber band.
Just about,
Yep.
you're gonna have to wait.
Right. No, that's Cruise By. That's what you said.
Deep Purple's fun.
We were on.
Hey,
All right. He wants to know what bands that we would have liked to have toured. No. Okay. He wanted to tour with you.
Yeah. How about you?
I don't have anybody in particular. We've never toured with any English bands. We did the Yes Cruise, but we haven't really actually done several shows in a row with any of the English bands. I would have liked to have done that, especially some of them from the 60s or early 70s and stuff. Because that was the most significant era for me. All the 60s rock bands, the Animals, the Kings, Beatles, Stones, Argent, and Zombies, and all that stuff.
Oh, we were talking about the choir boys earlier. Something like that could actually be done for choir boys. Seems like it could be pretty cool. So something like that would be cool. Anything on that style, that would, I think, would definitely work well. So, Felix, I wanted to ask you, I'd like to talk a little bit about like your bass setup in particular. So I think we were just talking picks and sizes and why we like what we like. So just as a bass guy to a bass guy.
My bass rig is completely pure. I don't have any pedals at all. I just plug in and I play. The two biggest things is my bass has to be active and I have to have an impact man. That's pretty much it. Everything else, doesn't matter. My keyboards really are Randy's invention. He's the one that does a lot of programming. So, when we first started, we were dealing with, I think it was something on the floor, we were dealing with a lot of animals. So if we didn't go before any of the MIDI stuff came out, and then when MIDI came out, it was really opened up our ability to be able to do stuff like theirs, this choir strings and bells, and all those different sounds. So, that definitely opened up a whole different palette of sounds for us to be able to use.
Nice. And is your bass like the brand and maker of your bass been the same like your whole time?
No, I actually I have a couple of Ibanez's, but over the years I started out actually with Rickenbackers.
Oh, okay.
And all of those got stolen over the years. And then I went to a limit, but I didn't really like it that much. And then I started using Ibanez. And but right now I have an active bass. A friend of mine, Steve Pisani, runs my Kelly guitars.
Sure.
And he finally gave me an active bass. So that was the bass that I had today. Today is the first day I've actually played it with Zebra.
Oh, cool.
Nice. That's super cool. We've seen him with the same bass for over 20 years. So,
Oh, wow. A little bit of a wait. Is that my guy? That is my guy over there. Yeah. That's awesome, man. I love that stuff for sure. Angel, let's get back to you, man.
When it comes time to see the set list, and some of the songs to choose from.
Today we have a set list because we only had a very short envelope window, but we don't usually write set lists. Randy usually just calls them out, especially when we just have a headline thing, we get 75 minutes or 90 minutes or whatever it is. And I actually never know when I'm playing.
it's easier for me that way because I do most of the vocals, so if my voice isn't so great, I can wait or I can warm it up, so we're not pushing it, not having to switch stuff around. Plus, we've got like acoustic songs, electric songs, all these different things, and if we're going to do one where God plays the drum solo, but the problem with his drums, we're going to move that to later in the set, but we do it on the fly. If I've got acoustic guitars broken, we've got to get another one. Who's behind the door is going to come when we, whatever we're doing with acoustic. So it's a little freer, but at the same time, you got to be a really good listener. And after 47 years, they do okay. But sometimes I'll yell bears, and Felix thinks I'm telling him to play bass. We've had that happen before.
Sometimes the lights are in my face and I can't see them right now from the song. Tell me what it is.
Sometimes I actually say out loud on the microphone, could you please tell me what we're playing? So at least program the keyboard.
Yeah,
That's all right. Because that's what music is that way. Because everybody kind of gets a kick set and stop it and look it up. So
it's usually, there's always something different about it. And that way, like somebody could yell the song on step up from the audience and we can actually just do it right there.
Nice. Absolutely. Steve, why don't you Keep rolling, bro.
Favorite song to play?
Get all the other,
I got-
get all the
I-
children mad at the one child.
I like Don't Walk Away, it's one of my favorite songs, keyboards. What about you, Ben?
You know, this is not new. I mean, you know, all the songs fun to play. Time Turner's one's always fun. I like playing stuff, in particular, the fourth album. Angels Call Me, I don't do that very often. Why? That's a great song to play. There's a lot of good stuff on that album. So, yeah, I'm all over that. Sorry.
That's all good. Absolutely. Randy.
I mean, my favorite Zebra song is Why, but I don't know if it's a favorite one to play. You know, it might be.
That's probably my favorite Zebra song.
I think I said before. It's simple. We started out with that song like probably 99.9999% of the time, and it's not straining on my voice. It's a good way to get into the set, you know, and get adjusted on stage, especially if we don't get a sound check. So,
And I tell you another one, because this Zebra music is not, you know, just a straight 4/4 thing all the way through.
Right.
Keeping beats, we're all over the map.
Yeah.
Arabian Nights is the one song I hit the group, so I really like playing that. It's just a really solid lane thing. So Arabian Nights, yeah, that's a favorite.
What would you guys say, sort of like a two-part, but in like the same style? What, after all this time, continues to drive you guys with Zebra, and do you have anything tentatively mulling around for what will be your 50th anniversary?
Randy?
yeah, the mulling is staying out of the cemetery.
Just wheeling my chair up to the drum line.
Oh, come on, man. You guys were seniors when I was a freshman. It's all good.
Yeah, we've been on for a long time. Now we're having to admit it. You know, I guess for the 50th anniversary, we'll try to do something a little more special. We had a 45th anniversary that didn't happen because of COVID, so that's why we're selling 45th anniversary t-shirts here, even though it's 47 years. But, you know, we did a 30, I think it was the 35th anniversary.
That was at Miami Jazz.
Yeah, we did a show with the 35th anniversary down South End in New York, where we had a horn section playing with us. And yeah, we did a lot. We added some songs that we hadn't played in forever. And so it was an interesting show. You know, I think people liked it. You know, it's definitely different. So for the 50th, we're gonna have to do something like that. Might even play. We might even have Shepherd's Bush open the Zebra. Shepherd's Bush can open the Zebra. Let's feel it's a band for Zebra.
Something like that would be cool. I mean, plus it's always fun, you know, if the location, sound, and the financials work out correctly, or something like the DVD or some kind of live thing for the anniversary would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Play around
We
with
still
something
have
like
the 35th ready to be fixed.
So, okay, with 3 years out from that, we're gonna use all of those time before we actually make up our mind.
Right.
Trust us.
and then you're gonna add in the new song.
Right, the new song,
But
right.
I'm gonna celebrate the 50th anniversary in the 52nd year.
Well, hopefully, we won't have to do that. But we will if we have to.
Definitely. Just keep on trucking and just keep on striving.
Has there been any place that you still wanted to do a show at, or it's more about being country?
Yeah.
venue?
Me, Madison Square Garden,
Yeah, me too.
never played that.
Yeah.
We did all the arenas around that area.
Jones Beach either.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to play.
Those are two venues that we've been on to do.
Say you can do one with Santa Fe. Great theater. We should probably play that too.
We did, down in New Orleans, we played with Kiss, the Superdome. We played just about every venue there is down there. I think Madison Square Garden is like the place, you know?
Right.
And it's funny how we just never ended up there, you know? And then we all the tours with it.
Well, and I'm gonna throw this one in as part of what Andrew was asking, because it's a godsend when it comes to this area. Do you guys have any memories of playing Hammerjacks?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we played Hammerjacks a lot. We played Hammerjacks, we played the Bayou, we played the Wax Museum in DC, and
Isn't that the night during, isn't that the place during music games?
No, that
that was the Wax Museum.
no, that was the other one.
So Bayou,
The Bayou, that was at the Bayou.
Yeah, we used it.
Yeah, he showed up.
that was when he was doing a lot of reality film.
Awesome. What's good?
But Hammerjack was like a great club.
Alright.
Very cool. Is there anything that you remember, like, particular shows? Like, you just remember whether it was a funny moment or anything like that?
I think in particular, it was the thing with Hammerjacks, the reason I remember that club so well is because it was another club in Long Island called Hammerheads. And they were the only hammer clubs we knew of, you know? And we did play down here at Hammerjacks quite a bit, but we just came in here and did the gig, and that was it. There wasn't any like craziness. I don't think we played there enough to have crazy stuff.
No worries, yeah, it's always just been, you know, it's held still so near and dear. In fact, they actually are. I got to see the.
There's a new one, right?
Yeah, there's a new one that they're working on right now. They're also trying to. No, it's not only just because of COVID, but there's a certain amount of just delay and stuff like that. So they're starting to do a few things. They're trying to get, like, you know, the tailgating involved.
I've seen them on Twitter, kind of like news and stuff.
Yeah, and I got to see my friend Brad and I were given the current rough cut of the Hammerjacks documentary.
Oh, cool.
They're doing a really good job with that because, man, they've dug out so much old footage.
Well, yeah, it seems like somebody is curating some of the history because sometimes when they tweet out, they had a particular date for a particular band. If you remember Hammerjacks, remember this date with this band and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
So somebody has a history of the club, which is sometimes all stuff gets lost.
Did they have footage from the 80s?
They did. That's awesome. All the way back to when Hammerjacks was the original little dive bar at a different location before it moved to what became known as
That's terrific.
as the big game room.
Which is now that old room is now where Raiders Stadium.
Yeah. The original Hammerjacks, as we all know it, unfortunately, is rubble. But they're working on, and it's pretty much done to a certain degree. I think there's just like the little stuff, the licensing, what they want to do, the direction they want to take it is like kind of still being worked out, and stuff like that. So
Someone told me that they were supposed to get modeled pretty much after the old club.
yeah,
And then, because I remember they used to have the balconies would run all the way around the sides of the building on the second floor and stuff.
yeah, I haven't seen a ton of the inside right now, but I also know that they've extended the outside as well because they're also with the location really trying to take advantage, of course, like with the football and baseball stadiums being right there.
Right.
They got to benefit off the tailgating,
Yeah.
some outdoor and seeing that as well, for sure.
Steve, so we're talking about so many old venues. I was talking to you before, and I'm talking to you Felix, downstairs. Club and then was the first time I ever saw
So
you
New Jersey, yeah.
in New Jersey.
Yes.
And then, of course, then I used to work at the Birchill.
Okay, yeah, we played the virtual.
Birchill many times, yes. So, as far as in playing, because you guys are from technically Long Island, growing up in Jersey.
But we're really from New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
But we moved up to Long Island 2 years after we started playing.
Yeah, we played a lot of rooms in Jersey. We played the Soap Factory, we played there, we did Birchill. We probably did, I can't remember the name of it, something Fountain.
Fountain Casino.
Fountain Casino, right? But Twisted played there and that one a lot.
Right.
The guy that was winning a lot of those clubs was named Art Stock.
Yeah, the same guy owns the Birchill.
Yeah, and he ran some clubs in Florida too.
Yes. That's Birchill.
That's Birchill.
Birchill, now it's a retirement village. Yeah, he sold it for $5 million, the property and the place.
Yeah,
And
no, because they had that big road and
Yeah.
it went all the way down at the end before you got to
and
it.
the parking choices and the parking driveway to get there.
Well, they had a kind of a facility too, because they had like outdoor events, they had like,
Yeah.
volleyball.
Yeah,
courts and all
yeah,
that.
the courts and horseback riding,
Right.
and pools and
Yeah,
stuff like
and they
that.
still do. Well, that was
Retirement. Maybe we can go down and play there. Big little problem is
Sponsored by
It's the same people. It's the same people.
Randy, I think that's two guys who are looking for some development.
I was just gonna say, well, I have another topic. we used to play, the three bands would go on at the same time.
Glen Allen Casino.
Okay,
That was in the World Show in New York.
oh, okay. Now, I was gonna ask you guys, have you ever heard Practice Stop?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Big round. And they're still going, they've been going on.
Yeah, I've met Dave DeMarco, their bass player, a few times.
And they're still going now, Colombo, 20 hours.
Columbo, yeah.
I played with him one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did a show up here, and AJ Harrell, Tristan's sister, was here too. And they what plan? But they said, why don't we do a song together? So I said, what do you know? I said, all these things I know. It's got it, you know. And AJ said, what do you want to do? So I just jokingly said, how about Carousel? They both said, sure. And we did. Yeah, the whole 10 minutes of it. And AJ nailed it. I mean, I'm just like, really? What? It was unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was actually at AJ's last show. Where, in a small place just outside of Baltimore called Visual 18. And he was playing with Adrenaline Mob, and it was them and this other band, Drowning Bull, who were from Texas. And it was a really, really great show. And AJ's always been AJ. He, was very friendly. He was hanging out and stuff like that. So I'm having a conversation with him, with a couple of other bands and stuff like that. And
We listened to their records, the one that has Here Comes the Sharks or something like that.
Yeah.
You make a name of that album, and we love that album. We actually really like that record.
He's talking about AJ.
No, I don't know, we were talking about the long way too.
No.
Stop.
Yeah. And it was cool.
But he died right there, right?
Yeah, he excused himself of the conversations because he was like, I'm just kind of feeling a little sore and just feeling a little tired, guys. So I think I'm gonna pack it. And we're like, oh yeah, absolutely, bro. Because he plays the triple bass kits, so he's got a lot going on when he's playing. And yeah, he passed away on the bus on their way to, I believe it was going up to New York.
Yeah,
they were on their
the
way to
Chance.
Texas. So the Chance. That's when but no, AJ was always really sweet and really nice. I've never actually had a chance to meet Columbo from Practice Sky, but I think that would be a location.
Just released an album again, the album sounds great.
Felix worked with him at Jazz City Studios. Weren't you there when he did the thing?
No, that was a good one. It wasn't the practice one.
Practice Sky did that show.
Yeah, well, I wasn't there.
You weren't there for that?
Yeah.
So it was a live radio show they used to do.
Yeah.
A place called Jazz City down in New Orleans, recording studio by a guy named Cosmo. He's Cosmo, rock and roll. Felix was working there when I met him, and instead in lieu of pay, we used to get studio time. Practice Sky played there.
Tell me the story.
Huh?
Tell me the story.
About what?
You and Felix.
With what?
He was up.
Oh, yeah, Albert Erdogan and Pablo Matassi in New Orleans last night. They were recording people like Little Richard and Faustino and Jerry Lewis, Professor Long, and a lot of those acts. Pablo Matassi was actually the engineer for a lot of that stuff. And so, they had a history together with Albert Erdogan, who started Atlantic Records. So Alec and Stefan loved New Orleans. So whenever they would come, they would do these crazy parties at their studio. And I was always there because I was doing, work in the studio, So Alec was in touch with Cosmo and they decided they had a party there. So something has a party there, and it was unbelievable. We had this lady who was a stripper dancing on top of the B3 and John Paul Jones playing the music and stuff like that. And then also because of the Stones, they also had a party there as well. So that was we got to meet some really crazy people during that time. It was fun. I had to sneak them in kind of like the day before, really early morning for the show. I'm not before the show, but before the party. Because I would get there and I would clean up and do all kind of different things and also do all kind of different stuff, the studio.
Do you guys have
had to hide him in the office so that everybody from the party had gotten there, you know, because otherwise the people that were running the security would know what I missed.
The whole band was in there.
Yeah,
It was Shepherd's Bush. Oh, that was the band. 5 of us.
It's all hiding out in the luggage.
And with a bucket, because we couldn't come out.
yeah. We had to
Five
hide.
in the morning, all the way, and we had our bell-bottom pants, and we had the high heel. You know, we were going to step out. Yeah, we were going to get decked out for the party. They had 2 security things. You had to go from one, and you had to go to another so you could get to the
There was
elevator.
an old rickety freight elevator that I actually had to physically run. That's how old the building was. So everybody that went there, yeah. And so every time that anybody went in, I was the elevator guy. You know, so I saw everybody was coming through there. It's pretty wild because they had this other set of stairs that you could get up, man, but they were stupid rickety. I don't know why they didn't fix them. And an elevator really wasn't much better than the staircase, but at least it was just one floor. You know, first to second, that was it. And you just do this, and the thing would start going, you know. And it had no doors, just one of those gates. You know.
Well, if you ever had somebody there that you didn't like, you could just send them up and then just stop them and just like tie off the cord and walk away.
Full control of it, yeah. But it was good because, you know, if you needed to load some stuff on, this is a freight elevator to get up to the studio to put all your gear in there to record it.
Angel?
What advice would you give to any upcoming bands? Again, I mean, you guys know about kind of staying together because nowadays bands break up over these days over the dumbest things. Somebody said on social media or something.
They always have. I mean, bands broke up for stupid reasons back in the day, too. I mean, nothing's really changed as far as that goes. I think after the first 5 years that we were together, I think, for me anyway, you know, I realized, and I'm sure they realized, what they could get out of me and what they couldn't get out of me, you know, what our limitations were. And as long as you just accept, it's like a marriage, you know, as long as you accept the other person, you don't think they're going to change, you know, for some miraculous reason, you're going to get along better, you know. It's like people get married, oh, you know, he's got a drinking problem, we'll get married, he'll be okay. No, that ain't happening. So, you know, I think for me it was, anyway, I knew each person, and we kind of knew each other. 5 years is a good amount of time. We had the big falling outs and stuff during that time period. From then on, it was not so hard. So I would tell people, be tolerant, you know, and don't take it so seriously, you know, because there's a lot more value in staying together than there is in, you know, being even and breaking up. Because the fans don't like to see it.
A lot of it, I think, has to do with trust. You know, after you've been together for a while, you realize that you can trust that person. They're going to show up. They're going to do their gig. All those kinds of things. You know, you feel it's a kind of compliment. You know, and it makes you feel good. But you know that now that you have gigs and you're playing together, that somebody's they're going to show up in time. They're going to get their gear together. All that kind of stuff. Made it more comfortable.
And if they don't show up on time, you just learn to accept that.
Not one thing, and I've played in a lot of other bands, there is, but not those kinds of fields of great bands. And also, and I think I can speak before this year, we understand that the songwriter is, and you brainstorm these songs is random. So we go along.
Sure, absolutely. Steve, why don't we kick it to you for a wrap?
So, what band do you guys listen to today? Any current music? Is there anybody that sticks out in your mind? You're like, what? Really like this artist or the band?
I gotta say that's probably one thing I regret over the years is not listening to more music that was created after 1977. And I'm talking about 80s bands and everything. I mean, I've heard some, and they hit some of the radio stuff like that, but I should have paid more attention because people will mention like a huge band, and I'm like, I really don't know who they are. But I haven't really been listening. My kids will bring me stuff that's kind of new. But a lot of times, you know, I mean, it just sounds like it's derivative of something. You know, I've heard, I mean, it always sounds like it's coming from somewhere else. I mean, I hate to say it, but the newest thing that ever came up, as far as I can remember, the weirdest thing is rap. I mean, who would have thought that would ever even happen, you know? I mean, it was weird. And, but like, as far as new bands and stuff, I'm guilty of just, you know, not knowing.
There's no rating like there was when you were coming up. They told you when you were doing it.
Right.
Just turn the radio on, it was there.
Right.
You gotta go look for it. You literally have to find it. And just buy the songs or love it. And where are you gonna find them? They don't have that record.
Right.
So many bands.
Who's your favorite? Who do you listen to? But so I'm an old school guy, but then if I'm going to talk to these my rival sons, there's a band called Dirty Honey.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So because they have an old school sound, and I'm an old school guy. But then also I'm also big into musical theater. My fiance is a costume designer for Broadway, so she's brought me to a lot of shows, and just the pure talent of these singers and actors. They're just, I just sit there and just, holy cow, you know? And then I also, my grandmother was a guitar musician. She was on the USO with Bob Novak.
Really?
That's awesome. And everything.
What did she play?
Vocal. She recorded the Les Paul, Mary Ford, you
That
know?
was my first record I ever.
Really? Yeah. So when I saw them at the Iridium, I called my grandmother and said, I'm going to see Les Paul tonight. And she's like, well, the trio is dead. I said, yeah. I'm like, he's not. She's like, okay. She's like, well, tell him I said hi. I'm like, okay. So I go and I bring the album that she's on with him. And I said, Mr. Paul, he's on this. He's like, where'd you get this? You're a very young whippersnapper. You should have grabbed that album. And I said, my grandmother was on that. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, my grandmother's Ruth. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah. She says, fine. He's like, get her on the phone. Get her on the phone. We walked around the Iridium with my phone for 15 minutes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Everything like that. So yeah, I'm an old school guy. And then my mom tried to brainwash me with this like Kingdom Comforting and Elvis. I love Elvis, you know. And my dad's like, oh, it's pretty good. So Nolan, 85 years old, just recorded a song last year or 2 years ago with Gene Simmons. He recorded this single.
Wow, so Gene's a fan.
You know, yeah, and you know, and then of course my dad was like more into like Neil Diamond, Blues, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and, you know, and my dad used to manage Steppenwolf.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty rad.
Wow, that's a mystery.
Yeah, so and I'm like all over the place. Just like I said, the new order bands now, like the Greta Van Fleet, Dirty Honey, Rival Sons, because they are.
And that's when the walking, what about some of the jam and things like this?
Okay.
Buckley and
Yeah.
bands like that, I mean, it's great.
Absolutely, and then, but then I also love the progressive bands. Like I love Dream Theater. I love, you know, what's the other one? Symphony X, stuff like that. Because I have no musical talent. That's why I work on radio. So you know, they're just the talent behind that. It's just incredible. So you guys, the three of you sound like you're a 10-piece band because you're so freaking tight. And you've been like that since the first time I saw you until today.
That's kind of what I would be looking for in new bands. It's like more of the progressive
Right.
genre, and because even Greta Van Fleet, I mean, they're great, you know, but it's you heard it,
Right.
you know, you've heard it. They're writing different songs, you know. Certainly, they don't sound particularly any one song, but you know, and even us, I mean, our stuff is derivative of something. It comes from somewhere, you know. But I love like the first time I heard Yes. You know, it was like, these guys are doing something different, you know? And
Absolutely.
they had influences, you know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, so when you grew up in the 60s and the early 70s, you know, you were hearing stuff that nobody heard, you know? So when Hendrix came out, if you went 20 years before Hendrix, 67 to 47, I mean, you couldn't even go back 10 years and hear anything like Hendrix, you know? It was like, you know, but you look now and you pick a band that's out there, whatever, and you can go back 10, 20, 30, 40 years, sometimes 50 years, and hear music that's very simple, you what they're doing. You know? And I just, that's the shame. The other shame for me was that they stopped experimenting, getting new sounds with synthesizers back in the 70s. I love that they were trying to actually create a sound you hadn't heard, and then all of a sudden, all the bands are doing strings, wires, or emulating, the Emerson, Lake and Palmer sound and stuff like that. And the only time you really hear any fresh synthesizer stuff was on dance records, or
EDM.
Well, I mean, I'm talking even back in the 70s. Disco. I mean, and there was a pit. I'm like going, this should be rock. This is where rock should be going right now. And instead, everybody's like backing up and putting the orchestras out of business with mellotrons and stuff. So, I don't know. That's just me.
I agree. Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for taking some time to rock out with us. It's been really educational and also just super fun. Just getting to.
We don't want to be education.
just learning about where you're going and what you're doing now. I mean, we love that kind of stuff. We know that the fans do too. So we can't thank you enough for squeezing us into your guys' schedule and playing for us here. And we really appreciate you guys. And thank you guys so much. And the Metal Summoners, we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much. Before we let everybody go, where can you all be found for fans that are looking for dates, new music, and
TheDoor.com is our website. Like, who's behind the door? If you go to Zebra.com, you're going to go to the barcode company, because they had it before we could get to it.
And they didn't want to give it to you, huh?
Well, they're huge, they're worldwide, and they weren't in, and they were quick, because we got, think about it, TheDoor.com, we've been asked by countless religious groups to sell that to. So we've had it for a long time, but because of the song, Who's Behind the Door, that's where it is. TheDoor.com or ZebraBand.com. You can go to that. Or you can follow Felix on Twitter.
You follow me, yeah.
Awesome.
Twitter, I also like home, you go there.
RandyJackson.com.
Absolutely. There you go.
For sure. Well, thank you so much again, Metal Summoners. Follow Zebra, check them out. Live music is back. You come out and support the guys and show a lot of love to the scene. We really appreciate you guys for doing that, and because it allows us to continue doing what we're doing. So, on behalf of Zebra, we really appreciate them, and for Angel Alamo, for Psycho Steve, and for Bobby Dreyer, thank you guys as well. We'll see you guys real soon. As of right now, it is a wrap on the Metal Summit 4M3. So, thank you guys so much for staying with us all weekend while we're doing our interviews and our constant nuttiness. But again, it is rock and roll, so who knows, we might reappear a little bit later. But again, thank you guys so much, Metal Summoners. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for our next official episode. And as always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.